Good morning, YouTube. How are you this morning? God is so good. He's so good. Okay, so I've been on the road for like a month now, right? And my whole hesitation of leaving was, I had many hesitations. Like I said in my last video, I was like, Lord, what are we doing? Are we doing this again? You know, like when the Lord wants you to do something you failed at miserably and you're combating all the disappointment and all the failure and all the stuff, and he says, do it again. It's so much more of a battle than the first time around when you have no idea what you're walking into and you're just like, yes, Lord, I am here. Send me. Like, there's such a big difference, right? Like, nothing in me this time around has been like, I am here, Lord, send me. I'm just like, yeah, I'm here, but so are they. You know, so I've had so many, I've been fighting, you know, my own stuff to like push through and to say yes and to keep going. And so, but I will say this time around so far has been so much easier because I think there's a level of trust, number one, that I've built up with the Lord, where like now this time around, I just trust him so much more than I did the first time. The first time around, that was the whole thing, was like him getting me to a place of surrender of no matter what happens, like I've got you and I love you and I'm with you. And like, that took a lot for me to understand. That took so many trials for me to finally understand, oh no, he's got everything under control, right? And so now I'm really at this place of like, God's got it, you know? And so that is the biggest hurdle right there. And so something happened yesterday. So I wanted to tell you the story because it's so encouraging. So this whole time, I left home probably with $20 in my pocket. I didn't leave home with much. Like the first time when I went to California, I left with a couple $1,000s in my bank account. So I had that little cushion of safety, and I needed that at that time because to me, that got me started, right? That was a level of it was a safety net, right? And this time around, I have my car and, you know, so it's kind of like a little, it makes things a lot more comfortable, right? But the last time around, I think I needed that extra money to set off because I was so scared about what I was walking into. And he didn't just throw me out to sleeping on the streets when I first got to LA. Like literally he eased me into that. He didn't just throw me into the fire. Like he eased me into the fire. And so this time around though, it's different. It was just like, go. And so now I've kind of worked up this level of trust of it doesn't matter how much money is in my bank account. God says, go, we go, you know? And so I wasn't worried about the money. Money always just comes when I need it. So I've gotten to that level after over 4 years now of literally walking by faith of every bit of my substance, my food, my provision, everything comes just when I need it. And I just pray for it and it comes. So on that aspect, things have been very nice because I haven't had to struggle through those fears. The fears I have now are just past traumas that are haunting me. And so it's a lot different. It's a lot different actually. But you know, like I said, I'm a Southern girl. I'm used to hot weather all the time. I mean, we have cold winters, but it's not like cold when we don't even get snow hardly, maybe once every 10 years. And so my little self is not used to frigid temperatures. So I wasn't really, I mean, I know it gets really cold, but I guess I wasn't really thinking like how cold it gets, you know, because we're still in fall. And that last night and the night before were like a winter's night back home, you know, so that to me would be winter, what I experienced. And we're not even in winter yet. So now my mind is racing of like, how cold is this going to get? And you want to go north? Did you say? Like so I have all these now new thoughts of like, what are we walking into? So anyway, but I will say this, the last 3 months before I left home, I had been cold plunging every day, and I had worked my way up to about, I could go for 6 or 7 minutes at a time in the cold plunge, like 6 minutes straight in the cold plunge. And I was doing an average of 18 minutes a day in the cold plunge. And so I had actually worked my way up to that in a period of 3 months. And from like, I think the first time I went, it was like a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and then all the way to like 6 or 7 minutes straight at a time. So I had been conditioning my body for the cold, and I didn't even know that I was going to need that later, because I think that helps a lot, because my whole life I hate being cold. I hate the cold. And so for me, doing the cold plunge was like a mental challenge to push myself beyond what I was comfortable with, because I didn't like being cold. But now I actually enjoy the cold plunge. I love cold plunging. And so, but God was also using that to condition me for cold weather. And I didn't even know that, because it makes a big difference. I know it makes a big difference. I actually, really enjoy the cold mornings and last night and the night before last night. Okay. So let me tell you what happened yesterday. Sorry. I've got too many things going through my mind. So yesterday, the night before, I woke up freezing. Like there was ice on the window, and I was like, oh no, I'm not going to make it through winter. And I was just started at 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, Lord, I need a sleeping bag. I'm like praying so hard. And I said that in my video yesterday. And then yesterday was a hard day, because I haven't had many hard days yet. So, but yesterday was a hard day because it was, that time of the month for ladies, and I was just highly emotional, which is normal for me. Like that one day a month where I just burst out crying. And so yesterday was one of those days where I was just so sensitive. I was so sensitive. And it's one of those days, like usually when I'm like that, like where the littlest thing, I'll just start crying, and the littlest thing can go wrong, and I'll have like a full meltdown, and it's not my fault. It's just the way we are. It's only one day a month. I excuse myself on that day, and I just say that's just the way it is. But, generally I'm not one of those, like, I don't get angry. I just get highly emotional where everything makes me cry. So basically yesterday was one of those days, and I was almost out of groceries. And so I went to the store, and I got some hot water, and I made some grits, but I poured too much water in my grits. And I was like, oh, I can't eat these because I accidentally poured too much water in there. So I scrapped that, and I went along with my business, and I just got some other stuff done. And then my blood sugar started dropping, and I was like, oh, I gotta eat something. So I went back to the drawing board, and I found a can of beans, and I love beans with hot sauce and rice, but I didn't have any hot sauce. And I was like, I'll just eat the beans. It's fine. I'll just drain out the juice and put them in a bowl and eat the beans. I'm not even going to get rice because I didn't want to go back to the store and heat up rice. So I did that. I put the beans in the bowl, and then I went to put some, since I was out of hot sauce, I looked down at my condiments, and I was like, well, I got some salt, so I'll put the salt on there. And so it's like a giant, grinder. I know, it's so weird that I keep all my condiments in my driver's side door. I like condiments, so I need easy access. But anyway, it's like the grindy thing, but it's like the big rock salt, So I didn't know the lid was loose. And so when I went to pour the salt on, it dumped out. And I just sat there, and I was like, okay, so we're not eating beans now. I just laughed, where I really did want to cry, because I was just it was just one of those days, where it's like, I can't handle this today. So, but I didn't respond. I was like, well, there's got to be something else. So I went back to the drawing board, And I had some like granola bars and some stuff like that. And I had some almond butter. So I was like, I'll just make some almond butter sandwich. But I love Gooba Grape because it has the peanut butter jelly swirl. And so you don't have to buy peanut butter and jelly. It's just already mixed. And so that's what I love. And I was out, but I had some almond butter, and I don't like almond butter by itself because it's kind of gross unless you put like some honey or some jelly on it. It doesn't taste very well. So I made this almond butter sandwich, and I was like, I don't have any jelly. I don't have anything. And I'm out of honey. And so I sat down in my front seat and I looked down at my condiments, and I had stuck like 3 packs of jelly from when I ate somewhere. I had like, they had given me jelly for my biscuit, and I just kept the packages. I didn't use it. And I was like, oh, I do have jelly. So I put the jelly on there, and I was like, oh, good. I have a almond butter and jelly sandwich. And I just thank God for the jelly because, I'd already ruined 2 lunches. And so like, I was just glad I had something to eat, and everything was fine. And I was just sitting there in peace. And this is where the true test comes. See, people think it's the big things in life. And I tell you all that to tell you, because we think that like, when we're walking by faith, we're believing God for these giant things. And like, but a lot of times I'm just trusting God for everything, right? And so when anything happens, everything feels like a miracle. That's what I love about walking by faith, is that literally everything that happens feels like a miracle. And so, okay, so, and it's in these little trials. I'm not talking about the big ones. I'm talking about these little frustrating things that happen all day, because especially when you're living like this, like you're living in your car, you have to go plug in your phone somewhere and wait for your phone to charge so you have battery. And then you have to plan out like, okay, I can't be on my phone too long because I have to be able to plug it back in, because it can only charge when I'm driving, and I'm not going to be driving around all day just to let my phone charge, or idle my car and waste all my gas to let my phone charge. So I have to go to the gym, or I have to go to Starbucks. And then that means if I go to Starbucks, I have to spend money. So you have to plan all of these things out, right? That's just to take care of my phone and my electronics. Then you have to plan, okay, I need a shower. I need to do laundry. So all these little things it's not like you have a house. You have to do them. You have to go out and find these things, find them on the GPS, go to where they are, like figure these things out. So every little thing. So just to have a shower, coffee, breakfast, your phone charged, things like that, just to have a normal day so you can just be normal, takes a lot of planning. So it's not like where you have the comforts, right? Which is fine. I like living like this. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining like what goes on in a normal day. So that you understand like how many things I have to do just to maintain some normalcy. Which is fine, because I'm not like complaining, believe me. But it's when you're trying to get these things done and you either A, have no money, or B, and so those things are just piling up, like all the laundry's dirty, and, you're almost out of gas, or, you don't have the money to go sit at Starbucks to charge your phone, things like that. So it's when things start mounting up and these little things, that's when you start to get wrecked inside. Especially if you try to maintain some normalcy in your life, right? So, which is just healthy, right? It's just healthy. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm eating my sandwich, and I'm like, just thanking God for the jelly, because that jelly, when I looked down and I saw that jelly, it felt like a miracle to me. I was like, thank you, Lord, for the jelly and the bread and the sandwich, because I had ruined the other food I had. And here's the thing about the Lord. He responds not to your murmuring and complaining and worry. He responds to your praise, your thankfulness, and your gratitude. So and this is what I learned when I was walking across California, on the days where all these, because when I was walking, it was even worse, because if I needed something, I had to not only find it. I had to walk to it to get to it. So if I needed, a coffee, or a bathroom, I had to find it on the GPS and walk to it. So that made things a million times worse, and exhaustion, because it's labor intensive, right? So driving around in my car is a breeze compared to that. Like it's not even comparable. So I am grateful for this car, right? And so, but on those days when everything would go wrong, or I would just be exhausted, or I'd be pushing myself and nothing would go right, and I would start murmuring and complaining or worrying or panicking, God would not respond to me. He would not. It was not like he didn't feel sorry for me in my tantrum, is what I'm saying. It was like I would act out, I would freak out, I would cry, I would do all that, and he's like, "What are you doing? Are you throwing a tantrum? I'll wait for you over here." Like, I'll wait for you to finish that, and I'll be over here. Like, he had no sympathy. But on the days where I would just be like, oh, well, my shoe broke and I've got to walk 2 more miles, and, like, I'll just walk with a broken shoe, and I won't complain. I won't murmur. I'm just grateful I have another shoe, like those days, right? Like yesterday, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to eat salty beans. So what else do we have? And thank you for the jelly. And okay, so it's on those, when you respond like that, when you're just grateful and you surrender to whatever you have and you're just thankful, and you can apply this to any situation in your life. Miracle working God comes through for you. So like, while I'm finishing up my sandwich, I get a little notification on my phone and an email from one of my subscribers and one of you all. And it was this just really kind lady. And she wanted to purchase me not only a sleeping bag, but I'm going to cry. Like, I'm seriously going to cry right now. A generator and solar panels for the car so that I have electricity, so I can charge my phone. I can heat up water. I can live without revolving my whole life around. I can get a heated blanket. So many things now. This opens up like a world of possibilities for me, and it's a game changer. It's a game changer. I was just thankful for the jelly. And then this woman just blew my mind out of, like, I was like, what? So I got a 0-degree sleeping bag last night, and I had the best, warmest sleep I've ever had I didn't even want to get up. I was like a burrito this morning. It was so nice. Yo, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I might cry because I was like so shocked. And this is another reason why I was just, it was more confirmation that the Lord was with me, because, now I have faithful people that have supported me over the years, like one in particular that has walked with me through fire for years. And a lot of the people though, that used to support my ministry don't anymore. And it's fine. It's just their time with me has passed or whatever. But I'm grateful, for all of them, past or present. And I have like maybe 2 ladies that support me regular. And so in the past year, I haven't needed that much. I don't need that much though. So like I can live very small, right? Like I don't need a lot to exist. So, generally speaking, but when I set out on this adventure, I call these adventures because it's better than saying we're setting out on a trial. Like, I like the word adventure. It makes it more, we can do adventures. It's hard to just walk into something and be like, oh, I'm walking into a trial. No, I'm not. I'm walking into adventure. We're going to see how God works this out. Anyway, so I was walking into this new thing and knowing that my needs are going to increase because now I'm actually stepping out in faith, right? And so I had been worried. I'm like, well, none of those people that used to walk with me, or I don't even really talk with most of them anymore, I mean, I chat with them every once in a while, but we're not like close like we used to be, And I was like, Lord, I don't even have any people in my corner, you know? And so that was just the most reassuring thing, that like, God's like, I have people that you don't even know about that are going to walk with you. And it was confirmation too, because I was literally debating with the Lord about something he was asking me to do. And I was like, but I can't because I don't have electricity and I can't. And so literally yesterday morning, that was my prayer. I was telling the Lord all the reasons why I couldn't do what he was asking me to do. And one of the main reasons was because I was like, I don't have any electricity and I can't do that. And literally by the end of the day, somebody called to offer to buy me like an electrical system for the car. So I guess that the Lord's like, well, you can't now. You don't have any excuses. Like, yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, God is so good. And it's these little stories like this that, you know, I want to tell you to encourage you in your own faith, because faith is so much more than just, I believe in Jesus. It's, I believe in Jesus to help me in every situation of my life. I believe in Jesus for the jelly. I believe in Jesus for the electrical system. Not just the big things, but these little things. You know, I was able to get a sleeping bag and groceries last night. So I'm just so overwhelmed and like so grateful. And that's why I love walking by faith, because every single thing that happens feels like a miracle. You know, and every time something comes up, it's an opportunity for the Lord to show up. And the more extreme the situation, the more likely he's got to show up, you know? And so that's what I mean when I say, like, last year, I felt like I was just, back home, I was like, I don't need faith to exist here. Like, it's just normal life, you know? But like, when I step out in faith, it feels like I'm alive again, because I'm solely dependent on God and everything feels like a miracle. And I love that. I love that. It makes me so happy. So God is so faithful, y'all. I just wanted to encourage you with that this morning. I got to go clean out this car, and I remodeled my little house. I bought some chest of drawers, as we say in the South, and I'm gonna go rearrange some stuff and organize some stuff and get this thing cleaned out and get some coffee going. And yeah, man, y'all go have a great day. Remember to trust God in the little things, not just the big things. You know, every little situation that doesn't go right, don't murmur and complain. Just be grateful for what you have. And I promise that's what moves his heart to move for you. Not your murmurs, not your complaints. God hates those things. It's your gratefulness. It's your thankfulness for what you do have and what is going right, and your surrender to whatever is going wrong, right? Like, that's what moves him. And so that's my advice for today. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.